Peace, everybody. Now getting on to how to rectify the days with the next day, Tuesday. So, okay, now anytime we're going to be dealing with the energy of Tuesday, we're going to be dealing with, quite a few things. Since now we're not dealing with energies like Sunday, which is only ruled by the sun, and only places that it rules is Leo, and the only places that it's exalted in is Aries. Just like with the moon, it only rules Cancer, and it's only exalted in Taurus. But now, when we start to get to Mars, now we start to get into a whole variety of different energies now, because Mars rules two signs. It rules Aries and it rules Scorpio. So Aries is going to be basically, what's Aries? Aries is the first house. Aries is cardinal fire. Aries is ruled by the face. See this shape of the nose going to form the eyebrows? That's the sign of Aries. That's where the sigil of the sign of Aries actually comes from, because it rules the head. And then, then you got Scorpio, which is ruled by, the M with the stinger, which could be, like when they say the Scorpio is the scorpion. So, that's the stinger, the defensive mechanism of Scorpio. It could also be related to the reproductive organs or the sexual organs of the body and everything like that when we start to get into medical astrology. But at the same time, Mars rules both of these energies. And Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn, which rules the kneecaps. So Mars is always going to be at its best places whenever it's in the head space. Meaning that Mars is already, Mars is a very headstrong planet. It's ruled by passions. It's ruled by goals. It's ruled by your desires. It's ruled by the things that wake you up in the morning. It's ruled by the redshift energy. It's ruled by burning metabolism in a lot of different ways. And even in physicality and in real life too, burning the metabolism of a particular situation. Wherever you have Leo, not wherever you have Leo at, wherever you have Mars at, that's the energy that burns the fastest and everything like that. Like I have Mars and Leo, so sometimes when it comes to being on the stage and sometimes when it comes to wanting to be seen, that shit can get burned out of reality just as fast as me wanting to try to be on the stage. The minute I get on the stage, it's like all the passions are already burned out of reality and everything. So it can play out in a lot of different ways like that too, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, like I said, Mars rules the face, the sexual organs, and the kneecaps. So, it's exalted on the kneecaps, aka Capricorn, the 10th house. So, Mars is a very headstrong planet, meaning that they're willing to go through any obstacle, they're willing to go through any, trial and tribulation that you put them through for them to be able to reach a particular goal or a situation that they need to reach and everything. Mars is a very fast energy because it's a red planet, so it's like the red shift and everything. Kind of like that, when you see a red blur and everything. Now, Scorpio, the 8th house, aka the sexual organs, rules Mars too. So, like I said, Mars rules your desires too. Now, it's not so much like you want to fuck everybody, like you want to have sex with everybody, but it's just that desire, just that urge you want to want to reproduce, to want to, engage in the sexual activities too. That's a lot of the Mars archetype too. A lot of models who like to show out their flamboyancy in a lot of different ways, have a lot of strong Martian energy and everything like that. Anybody with a sun, moon, or ascendant Aries, or even a Scorpio, because everybody's like, oh, Aries are so sexy, but then when you look at Scorpios, like you get a whole different side of that energy and everything, as far as like the attractiveness and like the actual magnetism of the Mars energy. And then with Scorpio, it's more of an internal energy, so it's kind of like you're able to see the energy off this person without even having to speak to them and everything like that, without even having to interact with them via words or anything. And then with Mars being exalted in the Capricorn sign, aka the 10th house, aka the kneecaps, like this is your ability to bend, come up, lift heavy objects and everything like that. That's why people say, like, use your knees, don't use your back and everything. Make sure you use your legs and everything like that, aka use that Mars to be able to, use it as a spring and be able to use that rev shift energy to be able to push up and everything and be able to lift things onto a particular pedestal, aka a status. So this is why Mars energy is at its highest point whenever it's, burning things out of reality to be able to reach a goal and a status and a certain reputation and everything like that. This could land into the energies of deep desires that Mars may have. They may desire to want to be seen. They may desire to want to be, have a status, or want to be the kind of person to where people can go to them for some sort of advice or some sort of like structure or some sort of blueprint to be able to get to the next goal and everything. And then if we want to talk about detrimented places too, Mars doesn't do too well in the throat area, aka Taurus, and the second house. Meaning Taurus is like, I was going to say fixed water, fixed earth. So it's like you're being consistent on a particular way of receiving ideas and everything like that. So certain ideas that you receive, it's kind of like you don't even want to think about nothing else and everything. It's like, these ideas I have, yep, I'm secure in these, aka the moon is exalted in Taurus. Yep, I'm exalted in these things. Yep, I'm secure in these things. Yep. Now when Mars gets to this area and everything like that, now it starts to have to realize, like, wait a minute. What the fuck am I doing here? Why the fuck is everybody relating to each other? Why doesn't everybody have their own passions? Why doesn't everybody have their own intent? Why doesn't everybody have their own individuality and everything like that? Why is everybody trying to do shit for other people? Why is everybody, like, kissing ass for this person and everything? That's how Mars is feeling. And, like, why is everybody speaking how they feel and everything? I mean, I'll speak how I fucking feel, but they ain't going to really like how I want to say it and everything. That's how Mars can play out when it's in the throat area, when it's in Taurus or the second house. It's dealing with your values. And yeah, Mars may value a lot of different things, but it may not be dealing with what they want to do for you. It may have a lot to do with what they want to do as far as their own selves. That's why they say the number one law of the universe is self-preservation, because the first house is the first house for a reason. Technically, the 12th house is the first, but that's a whole nother video. Now, another place that Mars doesn't like to be is the hip area, aka the 7th house, aka Libra. Now, why the fuck does it not like being in Libra? Well, kind of like Taurus, it's ruled by Venus. So, Mars is just like, goddamn, it's just like, fuck. Like, I don't want to be so relatable. I don't want to bend over backwards. And kind of going back to the second house, what it really mainly plays out is Mars is not going to express the things that they have to offer to the world, because they're the kind of person where they feel like, with Mars being in this area, they're going to be like, okay, if I speak my volume, if I speak the things I value, people are going to be able to use that against me and be able to, burn my garden down and everything like that. So that's how, with Mars being here, the Scorpio side of Mars is kind of like, ooh, I need to keep my passions to myself. I can't be expressing too much and that, everything. Now, when we get to this area of Mars, when it gets down to the hip area, then, Mars is not in an area where it can be so headstrong and it can only express the things that it sees and everything like that. Now it has to be more compromising with other people on an external level, aka everybody's communicating like, wow, I like that belt you got on, wow, I like that thing you got on, wow, those shoes, those are so nice and everything like that. Everybody's being boutique and everything like that. Everybody's being bougie in a lot of different ways. Everybody's relating like, haha, glass of wine, like in The Great Gatsby, like, oh yeah, we're all having a good time. And then here come Mars ass coming around in the hip area, and it's just like everybody's bending over like, yeah, here you go, this, that. And then Mars is like, okay, this person's going to take advantage of you in the past. Okay, that person right there, I don't fuck with them because I can't even relate any of my passions to this person and everything, because the minute Mars expresses its passions in the 7th house, people are going to be like, oh, you're not willing to bend over for other people or bend backwards for other people just for the sake of compromising. And Mars is like, you damn right I'm not going to do that shit. I value myself way too fucking much to be trying to compromise with other people who aren't willing to put in the same kind of energy as I am. People who have Mars in the 7th house have this problem too, where they give too much to other people, and then, in return, people give them this selfish behavior like, oh, see, I was just doing this for my own intent. Now, they could do this also to other people, but, with plants in the houses, these energies just play out by themselves in general. It's not kind of like, oh, you can help it or you can't help it. You just got to learn how to know what it is, and then when the time arises, don't get washed away by the energy. Now, when we start to talk about colors that rule Tuesday, red, of course, is one of the colors. Burgundy is one of the colors, which is basically darker version of red. And silver, like concrete, because that's the foundation. When people build a foundation for a house, they use concrete slab and everything. And also the skeletal system, the bones have that kind of silverish, kind of like tone, even though it's kind of, but that's like rotten bones and everything, the yellowish bones. Like clear, clean bones are white and silverish kind of energy and everything. So that foundation right there, that's, Mars rules that energy like the silver, not white, but silver. Sorry about that, I had to spit real quick. Now, when we start to talk about numbers to rectify the days of Tuesday, we deal with 1 because Mars is ruled by the first house. Then 8 because Mars rules the 8th house. So those numbers combined together could already relate to the number 9. So the number 9, that's going to be dealing with the whole totality of a particular situation, because that's the whole circle complete. Because after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not 10, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you got 0, and then you got compound numbers after that. So when we get to the single digit numbers, the 9 is going to create a full totality of a situation. So you jumping in the Tuesday energy, you're going to be able to find out if you play out both the masculine and the negative side of Mars and everything, and have your own passions, express your passions, and then have the capacity to be able to delve into your own passions that other people don't see. You're going to be able to see the whole full totality of a particular situation and the whole circumference of a situation also. Now, as far as like planets and alignments and everything like that, let me use myself as an example. Now, I have Mars in the 6th house, and it's retrograde too. So anytime the energy of Tuesday arrives in my life, when the energy is going to play out the most favorable whenever I'm more on a routine, get up in the morning and do the things that I need to do and everything like that and not get distracted. And also, my Mars is retrograde, so I may have to put in a big effort to actually, repeat to myself and to my own internal self and my own internal passions that, hey, I need to get the fuck up in the morning every day and be able to do this routine and pattern that I need to accomplish and everything. And then also, with the whole, wherever Mars is and everything like that, and then I have Mars in Leo. Like I said, with Mars in Leo, you may want to be a kind of person who wants to be very passionate about wanting to be on stage or just wanting to be seen for whatever they're known for. Now, I have Mars in the 6th house, so I may play out energies where I may want to be seen as the person who has their shit together the most and everything like that. I don't want people thinking that I'm some sort of lazy motherfucker and everything like that. So Tuesday is going to always play out a detrimental energy because we're always going to find, well, not always, what I'm saying is it will play out a detrimental energy if I'm not really trying to be seen as someone who has their shit together. And even though I can't care what other people think, it's going to play out energies that are going to be thrown in my way to where I'm going to get down on myself and I'm going to be self-critical because the 6th house is ruled by Virgo also. And then any alignments that are happening with Mars too in your chart, that's going to affect how you go about the day too. Like I have Mars square Pluto. Now, that energy right there means that I have to learn how to be more passionate about keeping certain things a secret and everything like that, and keeping certain things, behind closed doors and everything like that. The more I play out that energy of learning when and when not to do that, and what not to keep a secret as far as a deep passion, the more I'll be able to rectify the energies of Tuesday. Like I said, family, it can play out in a lot of different ways. If you had Mars in the 8th house, where that's where it rules and everything, your day is going to play out more in your favor whenever you keep things a secret and everything like that. Just period. Your passions, nobody knows about this shit. Your desires, nobody knows about this shit. The more you play that out, you're going to actually find yourself having a more favorable Tuesday than most people. And one more point I wanted to make before I shut this down is that I forgot to go into the fall of Mars, which is in the heart space, which is ruling Cancer and everything. Sorry about that. Now, the reason Mars falls in Cancer is because this is dealing with the heart chakra. This is dealing with matters that are close to the heart and things that you care about. Mars is dealing more so with the things you're passionate about, the goals you're trying to reach, the intent that you have to reach a particular situation. With it falling here, this plays out the energy of why Cancers are very passive-aggressive also at the same time. Yeah, they're moody. Yeah, they got their emotions. But they're not so quick to knock you the fuck out or anything like that. Even though Mike Tyson's ass was a Cancer and he was willing to knock anybody the fuck out and everything like that. So yeah, Mike Tyson played out the archetype of Mars rising from the depths of Cancer. But he was also a Scorpio ascendant, so that energy and his so that Mars fallen was able to rise, and then his moon is in is not Jupiter. His moon is in Sagittarius. So that exalted Jupiter